A very good morning. I do welcome you from that break. My name is Doreen Komhanj, and in studio I have a gentleman from Victoria University. So we are going to be finding out about the university itself, what it takes to be part of the beautiful family at Victoria University, and of course we'll also be, getting to know the services offered at this particular university. Now with me in studio I have Mr. Fred Kassier, the Dean Faculty of Humanities and Social Sciences. He will introduce himself. He holds lots of titles. Right here. And I have with me the Vice Chancellor, Dr. Krishna Sharma. It's a pleasure to have you in our studios again, Doctor.
Thank you.
How have you been?
Oh, fine.
Been a while. How many years so far?
I think 2 years. Last time I came and I was Dean.
I know. Last time you came when you were Dean. Now you're Vice Chancellor.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right. First time to have the Dean.
Oh, yeah, sure.
How are you?
Great. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah.
You're welcome to our studios.
Oh, thank you, Doreen.
All right. So how's Victoria University?
We are doing well.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's happening?
We are doing a lot of innovations. We are trying to set more standards, our standards higher in terms of holistic education and preparing the graduates for the real life.
Oh, yeah.
That's what we are doing.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let me speak to the Dean, since it's my first time to actually host you.
Sure.
Could you reintroduce yourself? We need to know some bit of information about you.
Okay, I'm Fred Kassier, Dean Faculty of Humanities and Social Sciences at Victoria University. My training is totally in development work.
Okay.
And I've done that for quite some time across this industry. But at Victoria University, I head the Faculty of Humanities and Social Sciences.
All right.
Yeah.
Interesting. Doctor, Krishna, last time we had you here, we discussed a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
And, if it's 2 years down the road since the last time I had you, I'd love to get your take on the state or the quality of higher education in Uganda. What's your take today?
Today, I think we have a lot to improve in terms of higher education in Uganda. And it's not like we can talk about only teaching, that teaching and learning is lacking as a whole. When we say higher education, it's more about teaching, learning, research, publication, and community engagement.
Okay.
And trust me, we are lacking everywhere. In terms of teaching and learning, still the relationship between a professor and a lecturer, the way we teach, there are a lot of things to improve. And that's what we are doing in Victoria. For example, when in Uganda, when a professor, I'm associate professor, so I can tell you with authority that when we become professors or PhD, I don't know from where an ego comes in. And no, it's not. See, ego cannot be there.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be there. If I'm a professor, doesn't mean that I'm the boss of the students. No, it should be not a professor and student relationship. It should be a facilitator and participant relationship. Wow. It should be so open. The whole idea of academia is debate. If you don't debate, if you don't challenge, then what are we preparing for?
Yes.
It means I'm just dictating. I'm the professor, I'm telling you, and you write it.
Yes.
Yeah, and if a student challenges me, then I feel annoyed, and this shouldn't happen.
Can we even dare to challenge the professors in the universities, Mr. Kassier?
Incidentally, just speaking from the Vice Chancellor,
Yeah.
the idea in today's education is that discussion between the student and the lecturer, who is the facilitator in this case. You'd want your students to find themselves and find their place in this world. You'd want them to identify what their contribution should be, how they can make that contribution, and it is solid. Like he rightly said, yes, according to the old understanding of education, a professor was that all-knowing, all-powerful, that figure in education that is totally unquestionable. But today, with the platforms available for us to learn, we appreciate and should understand that our students have a contribution to make, and actually the language has changed, to teaching and learning. In every session you have with your facilitator, they're only facilitating, they're igniting your mind. They're asking of you to find a little bit much more about yourself that you can make as a contribution. And fundamentally, modern education is about that. Probably that's what Ugandan education should directly focus into if we have to solve many of the challenges that we face.
The trends have changed.
Yeah.
Okay. And how far, if on a scale of 10, how far would you say we've gone as a country to actually catch up with the times?
Well, where we stand in terms of quality, I would give maybe 3. out of 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's like below average.
Below average,
Yeah.
actually far below average. Because
Yeah.
sometimes, and we as a university, we are also facing a lot of challenges, even in getting right human resource. Sometimes you interview a PhD holder and just ask him to take us through the research he or she has done, and the person fails. And that really disappoints, like, as a country, we are in trouble. If we don't have a student who can take you through his own research, then if we are not doing research, publication, community engagement activities, then we are not better than a glorified high school. And these are the things what make us different. And that's where, again, what comes, if a professor is all-knowing, then he will never be able to, he will never motivate the students to do something new. And that's the reason a student comes, Prof, what topic I should do research in? And professor tells a topic rather than asking the student, what challenges do you see?
Yes.
So I think as a whole, we are not doing very well. But yes, we are trying to fill gaps, and we shall move.
That's on the side of the professors. Let me speak to the dean. What's coming from the students?
From the students, I would say them too are not getting the fair deal of this whole education system. I would say if my colleague gives it 3 out of 10 equally, they too would give it probably 3 or even less.
Okay.
Because what would we as a country be proud of, graduating so many people, but then giving them away to no employment?
True.
And then continually pushing government and saying government should help. Where should government get these jobs? Then when we get the labor, you look at all the human resource firms in this country, they'll be telling you we get the human resource, but the quality is wanting.
Yeah.
Doreen, I don't know what it would mean for you to move into any other media house, probably just to say how I think they would want you to be on board, because you are proven, you're tested, you know your trade.
Yeah.
It's not something that will be very questionable around you. And surely students want that, and they're asking for it.
Yeah.
Take a university as an industry. That at the end of the day, you need a product that works. The reason you will buy Mercedes is its performance. The reason you will probably choose another model is probably its speed. And these are tested. Now, if education over time is being questioned, not to plug into the socio-economic needs of society, then the people, the providers of education, have to think around it.
I like the fact that the conversation is actually moving from the students to the providers of these services, the professors, the lecturers, the teachers, and now that makes it a bigger problem because while it is easy to manage the students, getting the teachers to provide this information, like you've said, you interview someone and they lack the skills to actually deliver. What needs to be done?
Currently, I think, many countries are moving towards 2 categories of professorship. A professor of academics and a professor of practice. For example, if you have not done PhD, but still you know a lot in the industry, you can teach the practical skills far better than a double PhD holder. So why shouldn't you be teaching in the university, even if you have a diploma or bachelor, master, I don't know. So I think there's a clear need to merge the industry and academics, the theory and practical. And that's why in Victoria, what we do, every week we have somebody doing good in the field. Doesn't matter what qualification the person has, but the person comes and talks to the students, talks about the challenges and how he or she has solved the problems, talks about the gaps available in the human resource and where the industry is going to move in next 5 years, so that students prepare themselves. Because if we prepare a curriculum now, what we're teaching in next 5 years, it may be outdated. So we also have to see where the industry is moving. 3-4 years ago, no one knew that social media marketing can be a whole new field.
Yeah, true.
But now it's moving.
Today, everyone has to get on board.
Yeah. So I think all we have to do is to merge the industry, rather than saying that we are creating the modules and programs so that they can be employed. Better we go to the employers, because they are the real evaluators of the students, not the professors. When you go to different media stations, no one is going to ask you your transcript, right? They know, Doreen, oh, we want her on board.
Yeah.
So the same way, we need to know the human resource gap, and then we talk to the industry, and then we prepare our students for the industry, keep engaging, keep sending them to the industry so that they know, they keep updating themselves, and by the time they finish, I don't see there'll be a problem. It's more about our approach that we are using.
Interesting. So I again, I like the fact that we are moving from, what grades I got, when I was doing my bachelor's, whether it was a first class or a second class app or whatever, to my skills, creativity meeting formal education. Is there a need today? Is it as rosy as it was way back for one to even go an extra mile over, attending or attaining university education, when they can literally go for vocational, acquire the skills after their A level and start with life, move on?
That's an interesting question, Doreen.
Yeah.
And I think so many people are asking that same question. Relevance of university education is key, I will tell you. And the issue is, at which point do you get it? There's been many questions around, for instance, an S4 child comes out of school, starts an investment, and probably they go through and through. And I think the end in most of what our education system asks of us is something to do to get an income. But beyond that investment that this individual has, they would need critical skills to network, to market their product, to grow it. That is where the university education gives you a place.
Yeah.
And that's where you need a total link. And if
So
you
one
ask me,
complements the other.
yes, it's a discussion. It's we need to complement education from all lower levels into the highest levels that there can be.
What's the current status? Because recently, I think it was yesterday on WhatsApp, one of those things that make rounds on WhatsApp. A lady friend of mine posted. She said, education today, higher education today has become so useless, for lack of a better word, to a point where one acquires a bachelor's, puts it aside, and has to go back to the real hustle. And it was sad, because for all of us that have had to go through university, when you join school, you're looking forward to one thing. How do I get there? How do I join the university? And after joining the university, I get that good job, acquire that big position in society. Today, that seems to be being, pushed aside. Okay, Doreen, go get your bachelor's. Okay, we know you have your bachelor's, but can you get on the road, get on the streets and real, hustle? So how are we going to change this? Because it's demotivating. It's a very demotivating factor, especially to the young people out there.
I think the biggest issue is the misinterpretation of higher education.
Yeah.
Higher education doesn't mean a degree that comes with skills, knowledge, and attitude. Higher education means the skill, knowledge, and attitude that may come, may not come with a degree.
Off the paper.
Off the paper. So the question that why should you go for university when you can just do a business after your A level? It's not like if you can do business. You must do and you should do the business so that you know what skills do you lack. And when you know what do you lack and where do you want to be, then you can go to university. Just like in the shopping mall, you don't just buy the things and then start saying what kind of house I'm going to prepare. You firstly make your house and then you see what do I need. And that's what the university education is. And that's why a couple of universities, they also do tailor-made courses or programs. I like this skill, and go to university. I want to do a course where I learn this. And then the admission officer will let you know, okay, you better go this way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so we seem to know what needs to be done because today any discussion around education in Uganda, looks at, creativity, the skills, but we are not getting there. I mean, the both of you just, rated us at what, below? Way far below average. Where is the problem? What is holding us back as a country?
Well, personally, I wouldn't point at one thing or the other.
Yeah.
I would think that we all have to do a reflection on this delivery. There's been a lot of transformation across the divide, across all aspects of life. Technology has moved. Instruction should move along. If, for instance, I took the banking sector, we've seen so much evolve around there. And the banks have tried as much as possible to move with the times, away from the brick and mortar banking halls. Now we can see mobile money, all these modes of transacting. Equally, education must embrace the times. And I think it's a conversation every sector should be able to embrace if we are to plug in and answer the socioeconomic challenges of the day.
All right. Doctor, how's Victoria University embracing this situation?
We are trying to do the right thing. For example, as you asked what's going wrong, the biggest challenge is that we as universities, we are doing competition while compromising with the quality.
Very
and
true.
all of us are taking these things. Education is, and university is very different. I shouldn't even call it business. Yeah, it's a business, but not the way other businesses make money. So here, rather than
It's
launching,
not as brutal.
but it is.
Because it's a
trust
service,
me,
yeah.
it's a service.
Yeah.
And when you look at a program, for example, now how do the universities decide which program to launch? They say, this university is doing this. Let's start.
Okay.
But what are you looking at in terms of your income? There's then tuition fee. You can never ever survive the university with the tuition fee you collect, because more high you go in the education, the human resource becomes more expensive. Your inflation is increasing. Every year you have to increase the salary. The technology you have to keep increasing. At the same time, you cannot grow the number of the student in that way. So it means there will be a point when you'll not be able to grow the numbers anymore, and you'll be spending more. If you look at top 200 universities, you talk about MIT and all these universities, the amount of fund in their budget that comes from their tuition fee is 7% to 25%. Rest of the money comes from research, from endowments, from innovation, from business, and this is what we should look for. So if I'm starting a program, if I'm starting a law, I shouldn't be thinking about training students if I have not thought about starting a law firm. So that they keep plugging in, and that's where you make money, and that's when you'll be able to make the university education relevant. And that's what we are doing. We are doing a lot of industry collaboration. We are doing a lot of consultancy services for different industries.
Okay.
We are getting research grant, and that's where we are moving.
All right.
Yeah.
Let me look at our university's contribution to the growth and development of the Ugandan community and the world at large. How are you going about that as a university?
As a university, we have set a number of channels to contribute to national and international development. We take development right from personal development to community development. That is our perception of what development should be. And we have merged with a number of practitioners in terms of entities to offer our education through what we refer to as experiential learning. We would want our students to come out as ready products that can effectively contribute to national growth and international development. Our general outlook of students is multinational in its way, and our contribution basically wants to ask of them to look at the course they are studying and then also see how best they can contribute within that program. That question you earlier on asked about dropping your degree after university and then
Hit the streets.
and then hit the streets for the real hustle.
Yeah.
We're trying to solve by making sure everybody finds reason to study what they are actually studying. We are moving from the gap to filling in the gap, not from filling in the gap that probably does not exist.
Yeah. Do you think that this will initially address the big unemployment question that remains highly unanswered in the country today amongst young people?
Certainly it will. Number like our Dean Humanity says, he even started a new project that he's looking forward for, to set up a model village in PG. And he's working with the local government. So we shall have the agenda for the year for research. And so all the researches, all the development will direct to one village and see how does it change. And then maybe we'll answer your last question, how it's going to affect the community at large. As far as employment is concerned, again, the problem is in the way we handle higher education. We are not working with the industry. We are in our own bubble that we know everything. We are the university. just try to understand, we are the trainers. We have to pick the students and prepare for the market. What we do in Victoria, we don't do just one internship during the program. We have 3 longer internships, but meanwhile they go for their practical exposure every day. Every week they have to go to certain company or certain hospital and learn. So throughout the 3 years or 4 years they are studying, they are already in the field. They know people, people know them. So by the time they finish, they are already relevant.
They have where to start from.
Yeah, at the end, in fact, this time we are starting a new program. It will be a two weeks program once they finish their course of study. And in 2 weeks, we'll be teaching all the soft skills that's not taught. For example, CV writing, interview skills, even how to handle your relationships and family, because you are finishing the university and you have to go into your family life also. How to handle that, how to strike balance between work and your personal life. So we are trying to create a holistic education.
Can I attend that class?
Please do.
No, seriously, it's something that we do not take seriously, but it's until you're out of university and you hit the real world that you get to realize that, what happens at home actually contributes a lot to what you produce at your place or at your job or wherever. So I think I agree with that.
Yeah,
lifestyle vis-a-vis production.
Exactly.
The two cannot be detached.
And I would link it with your first statement. You said Victoria University family. This is what family means. Family doesn't mean that as a university I gave you a degree, now you go. It means from the time you entered till you grow older, we are still a family.
Wow.
In fact, yes, we have master's programs, but there are many students who want to go to US to study, to do masters, but they don't know how to do it. So now if we think, but we'll be doing our own brand cannibalism, that's wrong. We are contacting the experts. So I think next week around Friday, all our alumni and our students who are graduating, they will be gathered in a hall. We have asked them how much they can afford. Then we shall give them the different list of universities that can fit in their budget, and then we are going to guide them. We are going to make them fill the form, teach them how to write an essay, because students they're innocent. You ask them, oh, did you write the essay for the university? Oh yeah, I'm doing 1 month, 1.5 months. They keep going. We are going to make sure within next 2 hours, when they are writing exams in 3 hours, they'll be filling 4-5 scripts. So there we are going to make sure they write the essay properly. Our experts will be reviewing that. We shall make sure they fill online form. We shall make sure our faculty writes the 3 recommendation letters required. So in 4-5 hours, they finish the application process. Once our students grow, this is how we'll grow. And it's more about how we take care of our students from the point they enter until the time we all grow old.
Interesting. Yeah. All right. So finally, as I let both gentlemen, go, what is it that you feel the viewers should know about Victoria University? I'll start with the Dean.
To all our viewers, if you are interested in education that will transform the person that your child is or yourself, it's important that you consider Victoria. Through your education, that individual shall be able to have a service learning to help them appreciate what they are studying. We shall engage them through the normal internships, and then we shall also try as much as possible to give them what we have packaged as study and work. Some of our programs like journalism, our students work 2 days in the week and study 3 days in the week. So they basically have the practice.
Yes.
They have the practice, and it's something that they will not meet at the end of school, but it's something that they grow appreciating.
All right. Dr. Krishna?
Yeah, I would like to say that parents and students should make an informed decision. So I'll not just say that you come to Victoria and register. You move to all the universities. Look at the facilities, look at what values you are getting, what skills you are getting, and then make an informed decision. But do visit Victoria also.
Where do you find it?
We are at Ginger Road, just near the Kampala railway station. We are just very nearby. And one thing I can assure that we are into quality. Fortunately, our directors, being part of Ruprelia Group, their vision is to leave a legacy. And that's why we are not going to compromise with the quality. And the second biggest thing that usually happens in the universities which are privately owned, the directors keep pushing the management to make more money and by dropping quality and all this. But our directors understand and acknowledge the fact that university is a very long-term business. We did a survey on top 200 universities to see how long does it take for a university to be in top 200 universities in the world. And it took as an average of 179 years.
What?
So it's a long-term project,
Yeah.
and we understand, we acknowledge, and we are not going to drop the quality, and we'll keep moving upwards.
Are you open for registration?
We are open. The registrations are open. Our classes are beginning in March end, and we also have scholarships. So if you come, you interact with our admission officer, and then we shall see how can we move
Don't forget
together.
that bit. I agree. Thank you so much, gentlemen. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, Doreen.
Dr.
It was
Krishna,
a
it's
pleasure,
always a
yeah.
pleasure to have you in the
Thank
studios.
you.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure to have you with us. And of course, to the viewers, our contact Victoria University for the students, the parents that are watching right now. If it's quality, it's Victoria University. And of course, scholarships are also there, like Dr. Krishna just stated. So when you visit the university, go beyond just asking the normal questions and also find out how you can actually acquire one. And of course, see if you do qualify, go for it. Thank you so much. I've been speaking to Mr. Fred Gaskier, the Dean Faculty of Humanities and Social Sciences, and to Dr. Krishna Sharma, the Vice Chancellor of Victoria University. It's been a pleasure, gentlemen.
Thank you.
And of course, the viewers, thank you so much. We'll now take a very short break, but stay tuned for our final breakfast meeting. Good morning.